Afternoon everyone, this is Mr. By the Fireside, Russell here. Long time since we've done anything on YouTube, and yeah, I've been busy raising our kids. We've got 4 kids, well the 4th one's on the way, and been building a business here in the forest and a lifestyle, and getting used to producing things for ourselves. So I've been really busy, but it hasn't stopped me looking and learning a lot more and having a whole lot of other thoughts since the video I did on the Mazzaroth. I've had heaps of really great comments, as you can all see, and appreciate those. But we're coming up to that crazy time of the year when people think completely differently as to what the Bible says about the story of the birth of our Messiah, Yahushua, and they aren't reading the plain text, and there's some very good answers. It's all perfectly explainable, as you've seen in the video, but I don't want to talk about that this time. I have been feeling pressed to speak on a couple of other huge matters. I can't tell you how huge this matter is, but it's not even on YouTube. I find virtually no one doing it. A guy called Scott Dreyer did some stuff on it nearly 10 years ago, and he's been eradicated from the internet. So yeah, I'm going to have my go at speaking about this topic, which everybody is getting wrong. Everyone is not understanding what we've got coming upon us. And I'm talking everyone. The wisest people you see are not understanding. I'm going to talk about something that's coming that wants the whole world to worship him. Don't forget that. Don't forget this for 1 second, because the deception is so great that it deceives everyone, if possible. Everyone. That's including me. Okay, don't forget that this thing that wants you to worship it, it is going and has been building a deception since the beginning of time that is so deceiving, it deceives even the elect if possible. So I need to talk to you about this, because no one's grasping what we've got coming upon us, and I think probably I'm only touching on the size and the magnitude of the problem. We have an imposter coming. The word isn't Antichrist, it's imposter. Antichrist is another one of these terrible translations. The word is imposter. It's so stupid to think that he's got horns and a pitchfork and red and he lives under the ground somewhere. That's just so stupid. And that's what we've been taught. No, the word is imposter, so he's going to look exactly like what? What? Is he going to look like what the guy next door to me is telling me he looks like? Is he going to look like the guy is preaching about online? No, he's going to look like what you think he looks like. And he's going to look like what I think he looks like. It's the imagination, the image, the imagination of your mind that's coming. Now, I can tell you, I have to try and push away images in my mind that I've had placed there through advertising, television, the internet, the Bible, my pastors, whatever. People keep placing what they imagine the Messiah is in your mind. They're constantly placing them there. And I'm going to do just as sinful a job right now as I talk to you about this. But I'm going to give you a version of just how grand this deception could be. Now, I can't give you the scriptures while I'm talking, but let me tell you, I have read and read and read this stuff. It's so plainly clear to me as to what's coming and what I see. That's what I think's coming, so it's my image of what's coming. So just don't forget that we've got conjecture all over this. We've got me, a man, all over this problem, and I'm explaining stuff to you that's full of me that I don't even know about. You can't understand deception yourself, because deception is, by its very definition, something that you don't understand, because that's why you're deceived. The deception is so great that it deceives even the elect, if possible. All 10 virgins were sleeping, slumbering. There wasn't one that was awake. And can I just quickly say here, a man doesn't marry 10 women at once, okay? It's one of the 10 that gets married. Some of them get to go into the wedding feast, some get locked out. There are guests that were invited that don't get to come. There are guests that were sitting on the highways and the byways and in the corners and the street sides. They end up being the invited guests. So if you think you're once saved, always saved, and you're going to make this, it's probably likely that you're not going to make this, because that's precisely the people who aren't and who are in trouble, the Laodicean type people who think they're rich, but they're actually devastatingly stupid. Okay, I'm not trying to be horrible to anyone. I'm trying to warn you that we've been told, but over thousands of years we've been heavily deceived. Okay, so let's start with a few of these things. This guy, we are told in the Bible, his name is Belial. The word Satan is not in the Bible. That word is adversary. It does not have a capital S for Satan. It is a small lowercase a. It's a descriptive or a title. Yehoshua turns to Peter, for example, and says, adversary, get behind me. He didn't call him Satan. Satan's in Judas. Belial, sorry, I should use the right names. Belial entered Judas, and he's not inside Peter. He said he's an adversary. Okay, King David was called an adversary. He's not Satan. King David's not Satan. He's an adversary. He's being an adversary to something. He had adversaries. The proper noun in the Bible used is Belial. He also has another strange title, and it's Beelzebub. Okay, Baal, we all know that's Lord. Zebub means flying ones. Oh, sorry, for a moment here, can I just explain? I'm apologizing for my frustration out from the front, because there is no wisdom in the earth at the moment. We are all gone astray. Even myself, okay? Even myself, so have your discernment on, people. Be discerning. If I'm not speaking some truth that comes straight out of the Bible, then don't believe it until you have gone and discerned it with the Word. Okay, so Belial, his other title, and it can be used as a proper noun, is Baal Zebub. Zebub means flying ones, or the Lord of the flying ones. Okay, so keep that in mind for what's coming up. We have been told for 1,000 years or more about these creatures that are beautiful men with beautiful wings, and they are put on in every cemetery in the Western world. We have angels. Angels are nothing like you've been told they are. They are nothing like it. The Bible doesn't even closely represent what the image we've been given. Angels do not have wings. The Malachim is the Hebrew word. The Malachim do not have wings. They don't fly, okay? There are some creatures that fly, some heavenly beings. They're incredibly scary, incredibly powerful. The cherubim and the seraphim, they fly, and the onaphim, they also fly, but in a different way. So seraphim, they have 6 wings, and cherubim have 4 wings. Nothing has 2 wings like the Catholic Church is trying to tell you. Nothing has 2 wings like the Pentecostal Church is trying to tell you. Nothing has 2 wings. Nothing has 2 wings. So the images everywhere of these beautiful men with 2 wings, these are the flying ones that the Belial is the Lord of. These are the ones that are coming. Now, the Catholic Church is actually just built on what we used to call the old Mithra worship. Most of the important big Catholic churches in the world are actually built on an old Mithra temple. Go do your research. Mithra is sun god worship. The Catholic Church are stewarding an old system that is constructed on behalf of Belial and his coming servants, who are what we have been taught to call angels and see as angels. Now, can I just put you forward in the future, maybe not very many years from now, maybe not many months from now? I need to add another piece of information. Two other pieces of information, actually. Everywhere at the moment on the media, you're hearing about aliens. And everywhere you are feeling this anxiety building about the economy, about drugs, pharmacia. Everywhere you are hearing drama building about the education system. You're hearing things being built about you losing your home because you can't pay the mortgage. You're hearing about aliens, whatever. There's just so much anxiety being built right now. This is a fantastically old idea to build anxiety amongst a population, a small population or a large population, and in this case the whole world, so that you can take it over. Because as you build the anxiety, the people begin to do a thing which is psychologically called a mass formation. We've just seen it with COVID, okay? We've just seen it with a mass vaccination. It's called a mass formation, and what happens is everybody's anxiety gets focused at one thing, and so that one thing becomes a release for the anxiety. Now, if the whole world is being taught that you're going to own nothing and be happy and so on, and you've got anxiety about that, you know that this is the deceitful side of what is coming. Because the deceitful thing gets thrown down, the whole world gets dropped, and a hero turns up and catches the falling one and throws down the enemy that was the deceitful one. Okay, now think about the Second World War, the First World War, whatever you want to think about. You get this thing that's raised, that's deceitful, that the people hate, or this cluster of things that the world hates, and then the whole thing gets thrown down as a hero catches you, and then the world loves the hero. This is historically repeated over and over and over and over again. We are about to see this happen on the grand crescendo, okay? Now, you in your mind have this anxiety being built against these people. I don't need to say his name, it might harm the video online. The one who says you'll own nothing can be happy. He's actually right under the sky. You're going to need to take 15 boosters in order to be healthy. It goes on and on and on. The anxiety is building. This guy that's coming built every one of those systems so that the anxiety would grow. Now, when he turns up, he is going to destroy that entire system to buy your love and your worship. Because your anxiety is going to be so high against all these things that when he turns up, you are going to throw your arms around him and kiss his feet. And I can tell you now, just about every single Christian that I know is one way or another entirely primed to receive this guy. They're going to love him. They're going to be so desiring of him. And the ones that he is going to point the finger at and say he was the Antichrist, those people, I mean, it's all over the internet, all sorts of stupid ideas, like Prince Charles is going to be the Antichrist. Who would worship Prince Charles? No one. Donald Trump's the Antichrist. Who's going to worship Prince Charles? No one. I mean, some people do, but I mean, really, I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous. Now, it goes on and on. There's so many different options as to who you might want to worship out there in the world, and they're all foolish. Because this guy coming, he has got an amazing deception planned. If he turned around and he said, you are all going to be free, and he throws the banking system down, and the buildings of the banking system fall into the earth like the Twin Towers. That was a completely man-made, that's quite replicable technology, that is now. If the Twin Towers fell into the ground and the banking system was leveled in a great show of strength, and there's this guy steps off a huge craft of some description that you were all anxious about because you thought little green men were coming out of it, but actually this beautiful man comes out, and he has beautiful angels with beautiful wings, and it's this amazing show of strength and power, and he has this lovely voice, and he throws the banking system down, which is trying to receive your house, and he says, look, I made the whole world. I am God. I am the one you've all been looking for. I am Yahweh. I am Jesus. I am Quasiquatl. I am. I'm the great I am. I'm all of these things that you've worshipped through the ages. I've been with you forever. I've always been here with you. I've been looking out for you, and it's gone too far now, and I've come to save you. This is the one, and he's going to say, look, you've got health issues coming out of your ears, and here are all my solutions. If only you sign up and believe in me. Sign up to me. And he's going to call for unity and peace. These things are all, he's going to give you all the verses for why he is the Messiah. But he's not. Because he's not, the real Messiah is not Yahweh. He's not Jesus. He's not Quasiquatl. He's not Kuthumi. He's none of those things. The real Messiah is none of those things. That's not his character. That's not who he is. The real Messiah is not the great high Elohim. He never created the earth. He never ever claimed to be our creator. He never ever claimed to be given it all. He always gave the honor and authority to his Father. This is why Trinity doctrine is inherently myth-occult, because there's no such idea in the Bible. Not even Paul spoke about the Trinity. It is not even a chapter devoted to such an important topic, because it doesn't exist. We don't serve a dyslexic God. He can't sit it on his own right hand. It's deceiving if you even think that. It's a deception and it's a confusion. But in order to be seen like the Most High, in order to be the Most High, Belial needs you to think that that can exist. Trinity doctrine is inherently evil. It is so evil because it's part of this great deception that you think God, and I'm going to do my next video on what is God, the word God, because everyone's getting this wrong, yet it's so plainly simple in the Bible if you just read it. And I'm going to give you the most important verses and the most important moment in Yehoshua's life other than his resurrection. The most important moment in his life. He quoted a verse and everyone misses it. And we need to go over that. And so going back to this deceiver, he's turning up and he is going to give you the antidote to the vaccine that you've just taken, as long as you sign up to him. As long as you agree. And how does everyone own nothing and be happy? Well, that's because he says he's God and he created it all. He's going to tell you it's all his, and look how you've mucked it up. I made it for you and you've turned it into a complete nonsense. And you've planted the wrong trees everywhere. This is not a natural forest, people. There's virtually nothing natural about what you're looking at here. I'll show you around. Okay. This is a beautiful place. I'm mystified by the fireside because I make firewood, okay? That's what I've chosen to do, just something simple with my hands. And we look around this place with the beautiful flowers, it's spring, and everything you see here is not the way God made it, okay? It's completely deceiving for you to think that anything behind me is natural. I'm a forester, I'm a professional forester. So I have a degree, 4 or 5 year degree, and I've got all the tickets and whatever you want to see. I can tell you that nothing here you see is natural. Men planted this species of tree. There's weeds everywhere because we've released all the wrong things. There's things overtaking the system here. There's a few native plants that are growing up in the background, but lots and lots of weeds. I cut this road through here. I've deformed this landscape as much as anyone, and we're sitting in one of the most natural remote places you can imagine, in one of the furthest countries out the back end of the world. I'm a New Zealander, and it's the last country to be discovered, and we have completely and totally stuffed it up. The whole world is stuffed up. So this guy's going to turn up and he's going to go, you have stuffed the whole world up, I'm taking it back. You are going to own nothing, but I'm going to make sure you're happy. And he is going to let you live in the house that you're living in mortgage free, as long as you sign up to him. As long as you think he's cool, you are going to get to have your house for free. So the poorest person on earth, they are going to get a free house. And they're going to be so delighted they no longer have to pay rent or a mortgage fee. The richest man, he is going to get to live in his house mortgage free, and things are going to be sorted out over time. And they are going to bring order and justice and fairness. Now, peace and unity, the real Messiah said, peace, peace. I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword, or the truth, and to put a father against his son, and a daughter against the mother. You know the verses. This guy's going to turn up and say, I want world peace and unity. You all believe different things about me, and I want you to learn who I really am. But for now, I want world peace. And he's going to go about deceiving you even more with his strange and deceiving lying wonders and signs. And people are going to be so bamboozled by it, and so deceived by it. To put it bluntly, most Christians are actually going to be the most evil tyrants once again, and they're going to throw the very people who are doing what the Bible says and keeping the laws and the commands of the Messiah's father. They are going to want to throw those people under the bus. Oh, they're so legalistic. Oh, those people who are Jewish, those Jewish people. You know how it goes. It's that we're so primed for what's about to arrive. The thing is just so primed, there's going to be an explosion. The pressure is so tight. You only need the tiniest spark right now to blow this world entirely apart, and this guy is going to catch us all. But what about energy? I mean, I am probably one of the first people in the southern hemisphere to reach a certain level in terms of the energy industry. I was one of the first people to drive electric cars in New Zealand. I owned the first commercial electric car charger. You think that just because I live out here that I'm just some wog in the bush. I went to every single industry in New Zealand trying to bring Austrian technology into New Zealand to burn biomass, one of the most renewable fuels that God said that we should use. You need to take these things that you've planted and you've grown. They're a solar panel attached to a ginormous battery. You chop it down, you turn it into energy to fuel our world, and then you take the pine cone from there and you replant it, and you do it again. This is the original, and it still is the most efficient renewable fuel on the face of this earth. And no one's talking about it. Biomass. And I brought that technology back to New Zealand, but no one wanted to do it. No one could be bothered. I was one of the first people to build my own solar panel systems, off-grid solar panel systems. And in New Zealand, we built the New Zealand Clean Energy Centre, and I've got lots of stories there. But can I tell you, this guy has got an energy tool coming that will blow us all away. And a group of people who are online looking at the Tartarian Empire, touching on it. It's an ancient technology that was given to us by the fallen, the Watchers, shown to us and given to the messengers to propagate. The Catholic Church sits on top of them, and they're called cathodes. That's why the Catholics, cathedrals. I know some people have trouble with those words and the meaning there, but he is going to manifest himself as a son of light, and he is going to switch on a system that's on every high place of the Western world. It's every mosque. It's just about every temple you can imagine. They all follow the same design and the same system, and they're going to emanate light 24 hours of the day and free energy, and he is going to be the bringer of free energy to mankind using something. Now there's heaps of controversy behind all this stuff, so you have to do the research for yourself, but it's called the ether, and I'm not trying to do any of the back any of this up right here, because this is for you to do some other time. But there's an energy source that Nikola Tesla used to talk about that would give free energy to mankind, and it's called the ether. Lots of the great scientists like Einstein talked about the ether, and the ether can be harnessed using gold and using mercury and using special devices that are basically all throughout the developed world, yeah, you can produce free energy, and it's going to just wow us, because electric cars and batteries and mining and stuff, we're just destroying ourselves, and he's going to make us look like such idiots, but he's going to bring us a solution. It's going to be so deceiving, folks. It's so deceiving. And all of it's in the Bible. Yehovah said to use the light from above and to grow things on the surface of the earth. But we are choosing to mine from the depths below, where he stored all the evil and wickedness. We're sucking up the blackness and the darkness of death and releasing it into our atmosphere. And with it, who knows, the kings of the earth might be releasing all the demons and the Nephilim and the things that have been trapped under there, and he's using our laziness to release it, so that one day he's got all the spirits he needs to take over and conquer. And we are going to see some crazy creatures turn up. That's why you see what you see in Revelation. I hope I've covered for you a little bit of how grand this deception is. I will try and put some of the verses down, but there's just so many, hundreds of them. And when this guy turns up, man, are you primed to receive him at the moment without a warning? I'm just being a watchman, folks. I'm just telling you that we are not spotting the grandness of it. I would want you to build this narrative as fast and quickly as you can for people, so they realize that their enemy is coming, and it's not the image they have in their mind of what the Messiah is. His name is not Jesus, folks. Do the research. You're as stupid as a rock if you think that a Hebrew mum and dad would call their son a Greek Latin hybrid name. That name Jesus is being used to deceive people. It's a deceptive word. It's a deception. And it's obviously wrong, and it's obviously not true. The more cunning things that we have with us are names like Yeshua. Well, the guy who came over the Jordan, his name was not Yeshua. Go and read it. His name was Joshua. Joshua is the contraction of Yehoshua. And the man who was the high priest who came and rebuilt the temple after the 70 years in Babylon, his name was Joshua and Yehoshua. Go and read it for yourselves. I'm not tricking you. Don't do the Yeshua thing. I'm sorry. It's a messianic movement nonsense. It's at best, my name is Russell. At best, people call me Russ. Russ isn't my name. Russell is my name. Russ is the equivalent of Yehoshua's Yeshua. Okay, Yeshua is a lazy man's way of pronouncing. My little daughter, when we say Yehoshua or Joshua, she slurs it and says Yeshua. It's called a dissimulation, folks. It's very simple. We need to do the research on these things. And I'm not saying Yeshua is too bad. It's just a lazy man's word. The worst ones are things like calling God Yahweh. Yahweh is the ancient Greek way of saying. It's Yahweh Pater is the way the Greeks used to say what we say, Jupiter. So, and you don't have to believe me on this. Josephus has even got the letter where the Samaritans say and talk about this. They say, come and name our temple, the temple of Anomia, or Anonymous, the anonymous temple. Antiochus Epiphanes, come and name our temple after your God, because when we came out of the Chaldeans, there were 20 different nations, all listed in 2 Kings, and we all had our different gods, so we couldn't decide on what God's name was. The temple's now on Mount Gerizim, and we can't decide who God is, and so you come and name it. And what did Antiochus Epiphanes worship? Of course he worshipped Jupiter, and so you've got coins on Mount Gerizim minted. We've found the evidence. We know that Yahweh is the name the rabbis took to give to the nations to deceive us into calling Yehovah Jupiter. Okay, it's a really good story. There's other people that are onto this, people like Nehemiah Gordon. You can go and read it for yourself. You don't have to believe anyone on YouTube. Just go do your own reading and let the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, convince you that we have got things so stuffed up and we are so far down the track of deception, just about everything is a crock. Now you've got people who are changing the calendar in the Bible and following sun calendars when it's obviously wrong. We've got people following rabbinic calendars, the Hillel calendar, completely stupid because they say it's wrong. Stop following the stuff that we know is wrong. It's convenient to follow what's wrong. It's inconvenient to wait on Yehovah. I virtually know no one anymore who follows the actual calendar that we were given. And so we can't all meet on the appointed times. None of you have come to me and said, wow, 1,260 days, 1,290 days, 1,340 days, all these references in the Bible. I didn't realize that was so easy. No one said that. These things are the spans from one appointed time, one moed to the next moeds over 3.5 years. It's a very precise calendar that everyone knew back in the days of Messiah. That's why it says you all know. Today we don't. None of us know because the deception has been so heavy upon us. We don't know anymore that 1,260 days is an absolutely precise biblical span from Passover to the Feast of Trumpets over 3.5 years. That's a precise span, plus or minus 48 hours. But we all don't know that anymore. Because we do Christmas, we do Easter, we do all sorts of stupid nonsense, and we don't want to do what the Bible says. You can't follow the Hillel calendar and get 1,260 days. You can't do it. You can't follow a sun calendar and get 1,260 days. You can't follow a dark moon calendar and get 1,260 days. You can only follow the biblical calendar and get 1,260 days. It's a fact. There's only one calendar. And anyway, people can keep playing with whatever they want. It's all part of your deception. And maybe I'm deceived in it too. Tell me why. But how much more do I need to go into this? There's so many elements to it. There's so many places. I see it everywhere. It's growing and it's growing and it's growing. But beware, people. You can tell I'm frustrated. It's because I'm up here chopping wood, and I know this is happening. I know this is coming. I have a lot of spare time in my own brain to think about what's going on. I have a lot of time. I listen to the Bible while I chop wood. I've been over this stuff so many times. I've looked at it, and it's getting real bad, folks. It's getting really bad. And we're about to enter in some of the most troubled times that have ever been on the face of the earth. More troubling than when we came out of Egypt. And may Yehovah be with his people Israel. There's not a country in the Middle East. It's a people scattered to the four corners of the earth. Read your Bible. Jews are Judah. And the word Judah is one tribe of 12 tribes. When the coming out of Babylon happened, after the 70 years of carrying away, Ezra and Nehemiah say who the Jews are. They're a small group of people. The names of the families are listed, with Levi, some of Levi and some of Benjamin. The rest of Judah stayed behind in Babylon, like Daniel, and were also scattered to the four winds. Come on, people. We are being deceived by the likes of the Rothschilds and George Soros right now, and what's happening with the people who live in the United Nations state of Israel. 70% of them are other religions, 18% are Orthodox, Orthodox Talmudic believing, rabbi believing people. There's such a tiny, tiny, tiny number of people in the land today who are what Yehovah would call his people, by their own definitions. By their own definitions, they say they're atheists, they say they're Muslims, they say they're alternative lifestylers. They are not God's people. The Rothschilds and the George Soros and people have formed up this place as a shooting box. It says in Revelation 11 quite specifically that the whole place is overrun. Everything is given over in Jerusalem. Everything is given over except for the holiest of holies and the inner court. Everything. It specifically says it, yet I see Christians, Messianics, Jewish people everywhere just completely stuffing up what is the plain reading. What do you think it means if the whole of Jerusalem is given over? What do you think it means? That's what it says in Revelation. So what we're seeing right now is the shooting box starting to get hot. Yehovah's people are scattered to the four corners of the earth, to the outermost isles, places like Fiji, places like New Zealand, the four corners of the earth, even the outermost isles. That's what it says. And they are not coming back. They are not in the land until the Messiah brings them back. So why are we doing anything else? It says that specifically. And so if you're being led down this deception you see right now, it's leading you straight to the Antichrist. See there, even I'm doing it. It's leading you straight to worshipping Belial. The deceptions are everywhere, and I can keep going and going, but I need to finish this video and I need to get back to chopping wood so I can feed my kids. So I'm going to do another video on what is Elohim, so that you're not fooled by something that claims to be Elohim that's not. It's very, very clear what Elohim is, and I'm dying to have a chat about it. Okay, put your comments down below. I'm going to try and put some more verses down there, but really there's just so much of it I can't possibly cover it all. What I'd really like for people to do is put in the comments how they see things playing out. I know this is a new idea and people need to mull over it and seek the Ruach and discern what's true and what's not true, and to tell me where I got things wrong. And you might all hate me for it, but okay, plenty of sacred cows killed in there. Bless you all. May Yehovah be with you, and may his son return with haste.